Today I find myself in a village south of Bristol, and it's a beautiful location. It's exactly the kind of place that many of us like to come and stay. I'm actually going to go and see a house, which is something we don't normally do, and most of our spaces are outside. So I'm quite excited to see what I'm going to find.
Not everyone wants a rural retreat in a field, so the beautiful country village of Rington offers a halfway house, a former market town dating back to Roman times. It's where Northerners Mel and Tom decided to move.
Very nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
So I've just been walking through and exploring the village. It's a really beautiful location.
It is, lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. How long have you lived here?
The best part of 10 years.
So I'm told we're actually going to make over a space inside your house. Can we go have a look?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just around the corner.
Come on then.
Follow me.
Mel and Tom's house dates back to the 16th century, a Grade 2 listed building that may once have been a weaver's cottage.
Wow, look at this floor.
Yeah.
Beautiful flagstones.
It will be a challenge for Simon to turn such an established building into a unique space.
This is a nice room. Lovely beams. What's the history of this place?
Well, we think it was built in about 1590, 1610. It's the oldest house in the village.
Imagine all her stories it's got to tell.
Yeah. I do know somebody's given birth in this room that still lives in the village, so that's quite a nice story. And there must be so many people that have died and been born and gone through this house.
It's such a gorgeous old house. I really want to go and see what's up those stairs.
Right, well, lead the way.
The room Mel and Tom need help with is right at the top of the house. They use the converted attic as their office.
Is this the space?
This is the space.
Loads of guitars, I see. Do you play?
I do play, yeah. I play in a couple of bands, so I keep my equipment up here as well.
The rest of your house is so characterful, really period. This feels like 1980s.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
So this is the bedroom.
This is it, yeah.
We've got the same 1980s feel in here.
We have, yeah.
What's that? You've got a squirrel in a box.
We've got a squirrel in a box, yeah. There was a glass tile on the roof and it didn't get put back when the roof was done, but the box remained, so we thought we'd have a bit of fun with it and put a little old stuffed squirrel in there.
Look at the floors. That's probably like an 8-inch drop across this whole floor.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mel and Tom have been renting out the attic room, but it lacks the charm and appeal of the rest of the house. They know it's letting them down, but don't know what to do with it.
I'd like to find out a bit more about what you guys do for a living and what you want from this space.
Well, I'm a writer. I do a lot of ghost writing for people, so I write on their behalf. So I spend a lot of time up here on my own doing that kind of work. Melanie has written a novel, so she's up here as well working. I play a bit of music.
In this space?
In this space, yeah. So given all those factors, I think that we're looking to maybe kind of establish a creative space, you know, for perhaps a writer to come along or a songwriter to come along and spend some time here just exploring their creativity.
People generally stay here if they're going to the airport or there's a wedding or they're coming to see friends, but we'd like them to just come and stay here for longer.
So what's not working?
Although it's a lovely big space, there's nothing linking it with the rest of the house, and I'd like something that told a story about the house and actually what we do for a living as well.
But obviously it's a listed building. We can't mess around with the fabric. And what I'd want to do is rip that carpet up, take out these walls back to the trusses, do something really restorative in a conservation building. But we need permission, we need loads of money, we need loads of time, none of which we have.
No.
So we've got to play with what we've got. We've got lots to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mel and Tom have a unique selling point for their attic room. The incredible history of the house, with its foot-worn staircase and wonky floors and walls. Now Simon needs to turn it into a destination instead of a stopover to somewhere else. He's gone up the road to the pub to hatch a plan.
So it's really interesting to be working inside a house rather than outside, which is where most of our locations are. And it's a really amazing house. Lots of history, lots of character. And one of the important things is it's listed, so we can't mess around with the fabric of this building. But the attic space is very 1980s. It's lots of straight plasterboard and white walls. And compared to the rest of the house, it really lacks character. And there's a lot of clutter. You could really do with some colour and potentially taking a bit of the furniture out. Now, Mel and Tom are both really avid writers, and I think a theme that I'd really like to develop is a kind of book lover's retreat. I want it to be cosy, somewhere to sit and read books, maybe somewhere to write. And the idea I've come up with is to create a great big library wall on the division between the bedroom and the sitting room. Lots of shelves, lots of books. And that's going to mean first thing you see when you get to the top of stairs, a big wall of books. I think it'll make a real statement. I've just got to work out the practicalities of how to do that, especially with a really wonky floor.
Now Simon has left Mel and Tom with a plan, they start to paint the attic room, disguising the unattractive wood and softening down the bright white of the walls.
So we put the first bit of paint on, looking at a beautiful mushroom colour. Yeah, maybe that might be quite nice.
This here is supposed to be where fish was put through to smoke or meat to get the smoke from the chimney. I'm quite enjoying it, and I really can't wait to see what it all looks like.
Three weeks later, and with the attic walls now painted, Simon returns with his team. Interior designer Verity Coleman, whose keen eye for colour can make a space sing out, and top carpenter Ian Tsang, who's great at designing furniture for even the most challenging rooms. They're setting up shop in the neighbour's garden.
Well, they've done some decorating since I was here last.
It's nice and fresh.
Okay, so the basic layout is that this is kind of sitting room space, and there's a bedroom through there and a bathroom behind. And they have actually rented it out to guests before.
Okay.
But I don't know if you noticed how amazing the rest of that house is. It's a really beautiful historic house. And we've got the beams up here, but actually it was converted in the 80s and it just kind of feels a bit like any other bedroom attic space. And I think we can do something about that. We can really transform it. These guys are music lovers and book lovers, and I can kind of envisage a book lover's retreat. And I think one of the ways to achieve that would to be build a real feature library wall.
Nice.
Great to fill the entire wall.
Yeah. And then we've got lots of kind of blank white space. So kind of it's bringing character and colour back into this space.
To bring the character in, perhaps we need a really nice big old oak desk which we could have under that window. That would look amazing, and add some more texture and just try and bring that kind of traditional period type features into this room.
And then what do you reckon about this wall?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll be great to have a really nice bookshelf there, but we've got some challenges. We've got a bit of a wibbly-wobbly wall there. I can tell that's not straight. And this floor, there's definitely some changes in height. It completely dips in that corner, so there's some definite practicalities to think about.
And you know what? The same issue with the floor is even worse in here. Come look at the bedroom. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the main thing, I think, is that bed feels really crushed in under the eave.
It really does. I'm wondering whether this is the best layout. We may be better trying to get the bed so that when you walk into the room, you see the bed straight away rather than tucking it under the eaves. And I think colour is what we need here. Problem you've got with sloping walls are, it's not as easy to fill them as it would be a normal room. But we have got a flat wall here, so I'm wondering if we can do something with that wall.
Can I just ask though, that's a really good idea, I love it. Have you not noticed that there's a squirrel in a glass box over there?
There is a squirrel in a glass box.
I think he looks lonely.
He is lonely. He's just one squirrel alone in this room.
I'm giving that to you.
OK, I will add that to my list.
OK, so I think we've got a good idea of what we're doing. Ian, I'm going to give you the library wall to do.
I'll get on with the measuring up, because there's a lot to do.
And then Verity, you're happy?
Yeah, more than happy. I'm going to go on a little trip and see what we can find.
All right, let's get going.
The house's Grade 2 listed status means nothing original can be significantly altered without planning permission. But the modern plywood wall dividing the bedroom and living area in the attic is out of place and needs some character.
So I'm just measuring the height of this room. It's 230, because this is where we're going to have our library bookshelf, so we need to work out how many shelves we need for the books. Funnily enough, we've got one about keeping squirrels. And your average book is between 25 centimetres and say 30 centimetres. This one's a bit small. And so I want my shelf depth to be about 200 to accommodate a few more books, about 25 high, I think. So I've now got to work out how many shelves and supports I'll need across this length, which is 254. So let's write those measurements down. It'll need a bit of working out before I can get started. Right. I'm very happy that I'm not working with a wall like this. Big wibbly wobbly wall.
Mel and Tom are busy finding books to go on Ian's new bookshelf.
You like Dylan Thomas, don't you?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
love that
No,
one.
I think that could
Ultimate
go up,
Wood,
but-
that's one of my favourites.
Their creativity lies in their writing,
Oh my God.
but they're struggling with the visual creativity needed to bring their attic room to life. So Simon's taking them to a B&B in an old Somerset longhouse to show them how to make an indoor space stand out.
So this is Mount Pleasant Farm. Parts of it date back to the 16th century, and I think it's got some features you're really going to like.
Okay.
The longhouse was bought 4 years ago in a dilapidated state. It took the owners 14 months to renovate.
This is the living area. Look at these really low ceilings. That's really classic for a property of this age. That's a drawer set on its side.
Brilliant.
Very easy way to make thin alternative shelving, and they've even used a bit of metal foil backing. It's really nice. There's a real mixture of types of furniture in here. So it is quite higgledy-piggledy as you look around, but it all comes together. All the focus is around that fireplace and that seating area, and that's framed either side by these bookshelves, and then you've got a really nice comfy sofa. So you can sit here by the fire, read your books, and we've got lots of decorations. There's a lot going on to draw you in. It's a comfortable space. But what I really want to show you is upstairs, the bedroom. Okay, so this is the bedroom.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
That is impressive.
Straight away, it's all about that bed, isn't it?
God, yeah,
How amazing.
it is.
It's a real focus of the room. I think the orientation of the bed is really important. And your bedroom is really quite a small space. I think we should play around with that orientation. I like when you walk into a room and you see the bed,
I
Yeah.
agree.
especially when it's a statement like that. We have got an apex here which is framed by wallpaper, which is something we could do.
Beautiful. Makes you feel like you're in nature.
And the wallpaper is a means of bringing colour in, or a print or a texture. We do want to get colour into your room. Rugs, because we've got to keep your carpet. So I want to bring in colour through rugs and materials, so it's your soft furnishings, just to bring colour in. What are the things you like?
I love the bedside table,
Yeah.
that little table and the mirror.
And what else do you like?
The general unclutteredness of it. There's a lot of stuff in here, but it doesn't feel overwhelming.
It's really good that you say that. You've got a really small space, and we mustn't make it feel cluttered. Have you seen what's behind you?
Oh, wow, that's
Oh, wow.
amazing. I love
That's
it.
quite something.
Love it. Just a perfect bath.
Copper bath is always a statement.
I'm going to have to book a night in here.
Back at Mel and Tom's house, Ian's making progress on the feature bookshelf wall.
When you're constructing a big piece of furniture like this on a wall that you hope is straight but can change, you start off real tight, you have these intentions for it to all be tight together, but you've got to allow for some movement, some change in the wall. Here you've got some gaps opening up, but there will be a cover strip across this to cover those gaps. And also you can see on the wall, it's a bit tight here, which means the wall comes out a bit and it's a bit open here. But that's all hidden behind the books. The actual shelf itself is nice and straight and level.
For the attic to become a writer's retreat, it needs some carefully chosen pieces of inspiring furniture. And Verity's on the prowl for ideas.
This will be absolutely perfect for the reading room upstairs. Brilliant. Hello. Hello.
At the Longhouse, Simon's arranged for Mel and Tom to meet the owner and find out how she transformed a dilapidated old building into a successful B&B.
So guys, this is Daisy. Thank you so much for letting us be in this studio space. It's a really great space.
Thank you very much.
How did you end up here and how did you create this business idea?
So in 2015, I was living up in Leeds and this particular house came up for sale. It's a house that my mum and I have always loved our whole life. It had been in the same family for a long, long time and I never thought that in my lifetime it would come for sale. So my mum, my dad and I arranged to come and view it. It wasn't in a great state. It had a lot of work needing doing to it. And when we came to view it, my mum and I just looked at each other and we knew that it was the right place for us. It would mean that I'd be able to move back from Leeds and be within my sort of family area.
So you're from here?
Yes, I'm a Somerset girl, born and bred.
So you ended up with your dream house. Did you know you were going to make a business from it?
No, so my dad originally suggested that I transfer my job to Bristol and commute and that I rent out the rooms and I was horrified. I thought, oh my God, what if I end up with 5 young weird farmers? And then a few hours later he said, Daisy, why don't you run it as a bed and breakfast? And this light bulb just went off in my head. Before I knew it, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was scrolling the internet, getting ideas for how to transform it into the bed and breakfast it is now.
We think it's an amazing space, really, really interesting, and it's given us a whole load of ideas. Where do you go to find that kind of inspiration?
So there's lots of places in Somerset. We've got some amazing reclamation yards around here, a lovely flea market. It's just about trying to find unique pieces that will fit in with your space and tarting them up a little bit, whether it be with gold or silver leaf or just painting something, just give it a new lease of life.
What gave you the idea for that amazing bed with the oars on it?
I really scrolled through the internet and found that on a handmade furniture site. The oars were actually resting against the wall in the bedroom and my mum and I were sort of decorating and doing things and we just looked at each other, looked at the oars and suddenly thought, actually, I reckon that will fit. And all of a sudden we had oars on the top of the bed.
Your little bedside table and the stool, they're beautiful pieces of furniture, so what about those?
So one of the bedside tables is actually my grandmother's sewing box, so bringing a bit of family into it.
That's lovely.
The other one was bought from an Indian shop. I think people are looking for something a bit bright and bold, so if you buy something that's really nice and colourful, and even if you add it to a sort of a white room, it can really transform the room. And I think by having white walls and one feature wall, it really makes the room stand out.
What do your guests say about the room?
So my guests love that room. It's one of my most popular rooms. I get a lot of honeymooners in there. It's a really popular room. I think it's got the wow factor with the 4-poster bed and the copper bath. It's got a really romantic feel about it.
So what I would like to do now is ask you if you would take a guess at how much you think that room is rented for each night.
I would say at least £135 a night.
Very close. So that room's actually £125 a night for bed and breakfast. I think you have to sort of be very careful when you're in a very rural area that you don't price yourself out of the market.
So guys, I think that's been really useful. Lots of inspiration to take away.
Definitely. Thanks for that.
It's been lovely, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been lovely to meet you both.
Back at Mel and Tom's house, the bookshelves are coming on apace. And modern technology has been Ian's saving grace on such an historical canvas.
What's been really, really helpful in a build like this is having my laser. This laser level sends a line all across the room, and I know that that is level, so I can work with all these wonky walls and always have a line to follow. And you can see it's catching the edge of this shelf, and it's leading on to this shelf here. So when you actually get to the original woodwork in this room, you can see how it deviates quite a lot. There's a big gap here compared to a bit of a smaller gap there. So it's really, really helpful.
How are you getting on?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah, right. Is that the colour scheme?
I'm looking at colours for Tom and Mel's rooms, yeah.
And what are you thinking?
It needs to be warm because the white is quite stark. So I'm looking at some pale pinks and some of the ochre colours.
Do you know what? Can I add in a little thing?
Yes.
I've just taken them to look at this amazing room, and what they really liked, they had an apex wall like we've got,
Yeah.
a bit taller,
Yeah.
and they'd use really dramatic wallpaper.
Amazing. I have wallpaper samples. Let me get a shortlist together and then they can have the final pick. But that's great. If we can put a feature wall in,
Brilliant.
that will have a real impact.
Buoyed by the visit to the Longhouse, Simon is on a mission to declutter Mel and Tom's chaotic room.
One of the things I really noticed when we first went up into the attic were the musical instruments up there. Tom had basically been using it as a place to store all his guitars, and it was making it look a bit messy. So I'm going to make a rack so that all of them can be stored in the little alcove at the top of the stairs, which is kind of out of the way. And not only that, it will look really pretty. But the problem is we've got quite a lot of sizes. I've brought out a sort of standard acoustic size guitar, and what I'm going to do is create an end panel in the shape of a guitar, and they're going to sit in a rack like that. At the top here there'll be a little bar with holes that the neck of the guitars go into, padded with velvet, and then effectively I'm creating a tray which again will be padded with velvet. Now because we've got a range of different size instruments, what I'm going to do is make one side of the rack for the bigger guitars, the bass guitars and the acoustics, and that we finish with a mid panel, so that rack will go along for the high guitars. And at the other end, I'm going to mimic the same shape with a lower head rack for the smaller instruments like the ukuleles and the banjos.
Having seen the impact the character wall in the bedroom with the Longhouse made, Mel and Tom have now chosen a wallpaper for their attic wall. And Gareth the decorator is going to put it up.
It's a William Morris one, and we've gone for quite a traditional looking print, which will go beautifully with these new colours, but also add a bit of interest. It's quite a nice detailed pattern. My only concern is which way it goes, whether it goes that way or that way.
Yeah. But generally, when you get out, the top will always be the top.
Okay.
Unless, blatantly it's not. So it's that way.
Lemons facing down.
Yeah, as they would be growing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it in your capable hands, Gareth.
I shall get on with it.
With wall space in the bedroom limited by the sloping roof, Verity is using the idea at the Longhouse of upcycling old drawers to create a clever wall shelf.
Because of the colour scheme in Mel and Tom's room, we're going to go with gold leaf. So in here, I've just got some PVA glue, mixed it with a bit of water, and then you just paste the glue mixture into the bottom of your drawers. And now that's done all the way through. This gold leaf is quite delicate, but if you can keep the cover on the top and place it down, that sticks straight away. And so all I'm going to do is keep layering that up. It doesn't matter if it's not super neat because it's kind of part of the look. There is real gold in here. What I'm using now is just a dry paintbrush to press down all the gold bits. So obviously when it's upright, the gold shiny side will be facing into the room, and that's going to give the room an extra level of texture and a nice shine and just a bit of interest on that otherwise blank wall.
The age of Mel and Tom's house is both its strength and its weakness. A space oozing with history, but where nothing is straight, and the building's Grade 2 listed status limits what can be done. At Weston Park in Shropshire, the renovation of an 1860s hunting lodge shows what can be achieved, turning an historical building into a selling point.
I would describe it as a Victorian folly. It was placed there in the context of enabling the family to enjoy the beautiful views across Shropshire and Staffordshire.
Colin Sweeney oversaw the renovation of Knoll Tower, and colleague Andrea Webster now oversees the rental of it.
It's the second highest point on the estate. It's a pretty remarkable, interesting building.
The tower had been converted to residential use in the 1980s, but was turned into an exclusive rental property in 2014. The shape of the tower proved challenging.
It was a really tricky project. I mean, you know, getting a bed into the bedroom, the base had to come in 4 sections in order for us to get it around the spiral staircase. So, yeah, there were those sorts of challenges, but we've ended up with what we're going to see.
The design for the renovation drew inspiration from the tower's Victorian history.
This is the downstairs sitting room, very much taking on the theme of the hunting lodge. So you've got this kind of baronial tartan theme running through, these winged back armchairs, the leather mirror on a leather peg. We've had some copies done of paintings that hang in the main house. So it's just kind of bringing a little bit of the Western story into the design.
The tower is nestled within 1,000 acres of landscaped parkland, a theme that's reflected in the interior decor.
The sort of design theme in here is very much about making nods to the wildlife. So you've got these kind of lovely bird murals. It's almost as well trying to create a cocoon effect. If you can imagine, you're sort of snuggled up in this tower, in this amazing bedroom. There's no big wardrobes because they're not great big rooms. So we've got these pegs up here on the walls where you can hang your clothes up and things like that.
Having such restricted space means clever choices need to be made on furniture.
You've got these lovely tables that are set back. You've got these nice deep sofas to fall into, so it's making sure that you don't compromise on that quality and luxury for the space that you're working in. I think this has to be my favourite room. The views from each side out over that Shropshire countryside, it's absolutely stunning.
And the views continue from the roof of the tower, looking out over the work of one of the greatest English gardeners.
You can pick out elements of Capability Brown's design and vision with the way that the trees are planted, the undulations. You're very much on your own up here if you're craving that tranquility.
We get a range of people who use it, people who have those busy working lives who just want to get away, through to couples who've retired and travelling the country and visiting places in the local area. It's a real range.
So what would a short break in this unique Victorian hideaway set you back?
To stay here would cost £550 for 3 nights, depending on the time of year, obviously, that you choose to stay with us. We are about experiences, and I think if you're going to offer something to enjoy and the opportunity of ensuring that those people come back to you again and again and again. It's the experience that's going to make the difference.
Creating experience is about creating a space that is truly unique. And Simon has an idea on how to do just that with Mel and Tom's attic.
How you getting on, Ian?
All right, mate.
It's looking great.
Yeah, fixing all the shelves in position and then all the nice cover strips to finish it off.
Can I throw a bit of a curveball at you?
Yes, you always do this. What is it?
I went downstairs, I've been rummaging around for books to go on the shelves.
Okay.
And in the shed, I was shown a box of damaged books that was all going to go to the tip. And I'm wondering whether we could use those to make a hidden library pocket door. So rather than just rehanging that door, we'd make a door that's lifted out with all bookends down the front, so you cannot tell where it is in this wall.
That's quite the curveball, Simon.
I think the critical thing to disguise it would be that these shelves run through the door at the same level.
Okay. Well, it's a lot more work, but I really like that idea, so it's worth giving it a go, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Verity is finding out more about the history of the house for inspiration for the attic room. A tantalizing glimpse into its past was thrown up when renovation work was done on the roof.
When one of the guys was around the back, he came down the ladder and he said, "Look what I found," and this is a replica of what he'd found.
In the roof?
In the roof, by the chimney breast, at the top of the house. So I did some research and got in touch with the shoe museum.
Yeah.
And they said it's a very rare find. They were placed there to ward off witches, to bring fertility and good luck, and it goes right back thousands of years ago.
So it was put there on purpose for that reason?
Very much put there on purpose. And we took loads of pictures, sent them back to the shoe museum, and then hammered it back in because we were told
It's bad luck to take it out.
Very bad
it
luck
out.
to take it out.
And then
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still up there.
That's amazing to have that, but to find that just by luck, really. So I need to make sure we get this upstairs in the room, because I think that's an amazing piece of history for the house.
So what I'm doing now is just making the last of the end panel of my guitar rack. And so we've got this half guitar shape, and I'm cutting out what is called the F-hole, which is just a thing that helps the musical instrument resonate. I've started off with a circle so that I can get in with the jigsaw and cut the rest out.
It's attention to the small details and pulling in connecting colour themes that will meld the attic into a cohesive space. Verity's newly lined gold drawers are getting some additions.
We've got lots of little flower pots, and what we're going to do is put some gold on them. What I'm going to get you to do is to use the screen tape and just tape up some of the bits of these pots. So there's some there. I've started that one with a little bit of a stripe on it. You can do top, bottom, a stripe, a diagonal stripe, anything.
I might give it a little middle.
Perfect. So do you do any kind of arty stuff, Mel? Crafty
Nothing.
stuff? Nothing at all?
Nothing at all. I have bought this cross-stitch book.
Okay.
But it's feminist cross-stitch in the hope that I can do something.
That's a niche
bit, yeah, it is a
craft.
niche. Yeah, it is a niche.
So, once we have finished taping, which we've done now, literally all you need to do is just spray it.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the first one and then you can have a go, it's quite fun. So just spray over everything and just spray.
Here we go.
Spray, spray, spray. That's it. That's it.
Really easy.
It's super easy.
It is super easy.
Perfect.
Okay.
So we'll wait for that to dry, then we can take the tape off.
Yep.
You there? That's it.
Success.
Pull it off, pull it off. Look at that!
Oh, that's brilliant. That's really effective.
This is quite good,
yeah,
isn't it?
It is really
It's good.
good.
So there we go. you've got your pots. Good to go.
You fill it with little succulents or something. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything you want.
With the secret door almost complete, along with Simon's guitar rack, the team can start dressing the attic room.
Loads of room. This was an amazing find online, and it really kind of adds some more character, which is what we were wanting to do to this space.
Verity is finally completing a first. She's found a companion for a squirrel.
He looks much happier.
With Mel and Tom now safely downstairs, the team make the final push to finish the attic. Just 3 weeks ago, Mel and Tom's attic was a drab, featureless space, unconnected to the historic splendor of the rest of the house. It was uninteresting and uninspiring.
This feels like 1980s.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
But with imagination, hard work, and the help of a lot of books, this little roof space has become a connected part of the house.
So, welcome to your writer's retreat.
It's amazing. Oh, look at it.
I'm going to stand there.
Your first ever guitar rack,
Wow,
Tom.
that's incredible. Look at that.
Gorgeous. It's beautiful.
I mean, the thing is, your instruments look beautiful themselves. It's just a way of showing them off.
That's just fab.
I'm really happy because they're all in one place. This is my idea of heaven, my bookshelf heaven.
Wow.
So, I mean, that big idea was to create
Yep.
a book lover's retreat.
Yep.
And what we thought we needed was a library, really comfy place to sit,
Yep.
somewhere to
Just
write.
perfect.
I just love the fact you get all this colour and texture from the variability of books.
Yeah, that's right. So you do, yeah, and all the colour and everything.
You've got the shoe.
Oh, look, there we go.
Yeah.
The shoe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ian's done a really amazing job. It was a struggle because there really are no straight lines.
I really love it.
Extraordinary, isn't it?
It looks so neat and tidy and magical.
And then obviously, as well as creating a really visual impact, I think it's a lot of fun. And when your guests come up here, they're going to be going,
Where's our bedroom?
where's the door?
How do you
Come
open
on,
the
you
door?
know where.
Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. I love it. I love it.
Okay,
Oh,
so
it's
here you come.
lovely. It's really beautiful.
Wow, it is completely changed.
So Verity's done really well. She listened to what we said after we came back from the farmhouse to use wallpaper to focus your eye, and it really, really does. And having spun the bed around, that's made a big difference. It
makes a
creates a
big
lot more
difference.
space, and your eye is drawn to that amazing wallpaper.
I love the wallpaper. I really do.
And hang on, what's happening in here?
He's been given a seat to sit on and a little book to read. How to keep a pet squirrel.
Yeah, it's a very good book. I hope he enjoys it for many years to come.
So what do you guys like the most?
I do love the guitar rack, personally, but I think everything works together as a whole.
For me, it's the books. I just love having them all like this, and that secret hidden door, which just gives a bit of mystery to anyone that's going to stay here.
And I think it's actually going to be a really nice, pleasant place to come and stay. Much more character than when we first came.
Yeah.
So have you thought about what you're going to call this place?
Yeah, we have. We came up with the Dray, because that's a squirrel's nest, and there's our friend next door who's a permanent resident in there.
I think it's a great name. And then I guess, have you thought about how much you're going to charge for people to stay each night?
Probably about 90 a night now, I think, really. I think we could do that, because you've got a whole top of a house, haven't you?
Yeah, completely.
Well, obviously, I think the team have done amazingly. I'd like to say a big thank you to them. It was actually quite a lot more work than we realised, especially Ian with that really wonky wall.
exactly. You brought a lot of imagination to the place, and I hope that whoever comes and stays here, you know, can kind of pick up that sense of imagination.
Well, it has been a great pleasure. I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Simon.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
It is really extraordinary.
I think anyone that comes here will just think they found a beautiful, very old, unusual, unique space that they can relax in, that they can do creative work in, and they can just visit a beautiful area as well. So it's just the best thing that could have happened.
It is, yeah.
It's been a really interesting project for us, working inside such an amazing old historic building. And you know what? I think we've managed to pull off a really great transformation. And Tom and Mel love it, so I'm delighted too.